I tell you, we got to win more. We just set a school record, and that didn't help. So, you know, I don't know what win more is. Maybe we got to win 46 in the season.
What's your thoughts on
you mentioned the preseason picks.
I gave him a. That's what I mean. I gave you a smart aleck answer, but we did. But in reality, that's the truth. We just set a school record for wins, and it's not like we bombed an SEC play. We won 11 conference games. We finished in third place, and yet it's viewed as not good enough. It's good enough for us. You're not going to take away from our coaches and players, but it's we. I think when you look at our league office. I'm not going to sit there and say they thought it was a problem. You got to ask Commissioner Sankey that. But I think going to hire Mike Tranghese and then Dan Leibowitz has shown that we're bringing some people that have been involved in big-time college basketball to help us change the rhetoric, to create more of a personality from a publicity standpoint in basketball in our conference.
Does Kentucky help or hurt in that regard?
I don't want to be rude.
Well, and toward that end, how many other steps, though, does this league need to do to go from a 2-3 bid league to getting 6 or 7 in the NCAA?
As coaches, all we can do is if you go back and you study the actual numbers of all the Power 5 conferences, we've played less home games than any other Power 5 conference over the last 5 years. Why? Because we're out there scheduling hard, trying to create tougher schedules or whatever to up the profile of the conference. Well, when you take all that in consideration and you take the part that I just told you, we just set a school record for wins at the university, there's only so much we can do as coaches. You got to schedule and you got to win. We scheduled, we've won. We have 4,000 people, first game I ever coached in our building. Now we top 20 in the country in attendance. All we can do is keep building our programs as coaches, and eventually I think all that changes. But our own campuses have to do a better job of promoting our sport. Our own media folks have to do a better job of publicizing that the league is good rather than publicizing that the league is bad, because then the national guys that don't come into Columbia, South Carolina, they go off what my local media guys report that the league is not any good. So then they say it's not any good, and before you know it, we got a lot of people saying the league's no good, and then your fan bases around the SEC read what the media puts out there. See, I told you I was going to be nice to them. That it's not good enough. Yet if you ask Rick Barnes what he thinks, ask Bruce Pearl what he thinks, ask Ben Howard. Don't worry about me. Those guys have done it big time for 30 years and won unbelievable in other leagues. Ask them what they think about the league. I guarantee you they're not going to tell you that the league's easier than where they've been.
When you talk about perception, though, when Kentucky a couple times in the last 4 or 5 years gone undefeated through the league, and they sort of for better or worse, hog the spotlight a lot of times. Are they good or bad for the rest of the teams in the league that are trying to, say this is not just a Kentucky conference?
I think it's great Kentucky's in our conference. Having them as an ally to represent the SEC, are you kidding me? We get to compete with what's as good as any program in the history of college basketball. It's our job to elevate our program, to put ourselves where we can be. See, when I got at South Carolina, we weren't even in the same book as Kentucky. I think we're now in chapter 15 in the book. We're trying to get to where we can be in the same paragraph as Kentucky. But it's not my job to bring them down. They win at the highest level. It's my job to build our program to where we can be in a conversation with the University of Kentucky. And that's my challenge. That's what I have to do. That's what our players have to aspire to do every day. Having them as an ally to kind of gauge yourself against, be able to compete with them, prepares your team to have success nationally. And that to me, that's a plus, not a minus.
Frank, what about